Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do a chunky and fine glitter ombre, as well as use clear sticker paper to add a decal. If you're new here, my name is Allison, and here I post a weekly tutorial and do a weekly live stream to help you become the most confident tumbler maker that you can be. So make sure you are subscribed. Your support means the absolute world to me. All of the materials that I use for this video will be linked underneath in the description box, as well as some discount codes so you can save some money. Let's go ahead and get started. So as always, you need to start by prepping and base coating your tumbler. I prepped by sanding and added my base coat of spray paint. I'm using a gold and white spray paint to match the glitters that I am using, but you could also paint on the universal white, tinted it, or go ahead and use those flippin' awesome paints. To apply my Brite tone, I like to brush it. It just feels to me like I get the best coverage that way. So I'm going to dip and drip and brush on my Brite tone over the entire tumbler. And then I will start with my first color. The first color I'm using is Champagne Toast from Glitzy Kreations, and it is one of my favorite golds. I start on the bottom and get my cup covered about that bottom third. So I like to break my cup up into thirds. So I've got like a bottom section, a middle section, and a top section. And that bottom section needs to be only gold. So I'm going in and getting full coverage with that gold. And then I will go ahead and start fading my glitters into each other in that middle section. So I'm going to aim towards kind of the bottom of where my glitter is and let it drip towards the bottom. So you can hold your glitter further away to help get it more of a natural fade. But go ahead and tilt your cup down and apply your glitter. The more of an angle you hold your cup at, the further your glitter will be traveling down your tumbler. It'll be like more of a dramatic fade. So play around with what you like best. Then I swapped out my paper and went in with my white. I am using Emily's Pearl from Glitzy Kreations, which is my favorite white glitter. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to glitter the entire top third because I do not want any gold contaminating this white around the top. And then once I have full coverage, I'm going to tilt my cup the other direction, aim kind of towards the bottom of where that glitter is lying, and let that white glitter fade towards the gold. So the gravity does a lot of the work for you. So I went around and then I kind of looked at it and was like, you know what? I need a little bit more white. So I went in, bringing my glitter down even further. So I just tried again and got that white to go a little bit further down my cup. Anytime I do a 2 glitter ombre, I always do my first glitter, then my second glitter, and I always go back in to do a little bit more of the first glitter. And tilting my cup, allowing it to just fade one more time. If you're not liking how it looks, you can always pick up some glitter and sprinkle on some more. You can let this dry and do a second coat. It's very flexible to allow you to make changes even after the fact. But you want it to fade naturally, and I find that the tilt does that best. Once you get your glitter on, you can let it dry for just a couple of minutes, like clean up your glitter, and then go in with an old gift card or with your finger. This will help flatten that chunky glitter as much as possible, because if you're new to using chunky glitter, you know that you want it to be as flat as possible. Let this dry for 4 hours and then go in with a dry brush. I do like to brush the color separately, so I'll brush the gold and then go in and brush the white so I can get off any excess glitter before I go into the sealing process. Once you've gone through the process of sealing and flattening your glitter, you are ready to build up your coats of Brite tone. Make sure you do your coats of Brite tone every 4 hours, sanding every 3 or 4 coats until you have a smooth surface. Using clear sticker paper is a fun way to add decals to your tumblers. It is similar to using something like a water slide or a tattoo in the sense that it has a clear background, but you don't have to use water to get it on your tumbler, so it's a much faster process. So over the past couple of months, I've been testing out different brands and trying to figure out which one I like best, because I had one that I used to recommend and then it turned a little yellow and changed colors on me, so then I had to stop recommending it. So I was on the lookout for new paper and I landed on the Koala brand. Now I have a laser printer, So this is clear sticker paper for a laser printer. You don't have to seal it, you can print it, peel it, and stick it, and you're good to go. If you have an inkjet printer, you'll want to make sure you buy the sticker paper made for an inkjet printer, and you probably want to seal it with clear spray paint before you add any Brite tone to it. So you can print it, you can cut it, you can seal it, and then you can let that dry for 48 hours before you put it on your tumbler. I like to use Microsoft Word to insert a picture from my device. So I have it in my downloads, and I will be able to add in this image and then resize it to about what I need. Usually I go about 2.7, maybe 3. It really depends on the design. The other thing I like to do is change my wrap texting to be tight, so I can move it around. You may want to change your margins so you can fit more on your paper. I do like to try to fill up this paper with a bunch of different decals so I don't waste any of my clear sticker paper. From there, I'm just going to go to File, Print, and send it to my printer. The beauty of having a laser printer is that you can just print and add your decal right away. I do like to cut out the decal close to the image. It doesn't have to be like exact because it is clear paper and you won't see, but the smaller the decal, the easier it is to place, so I will cut it around that decal pretty close. And then you can just peel and stick it on your tumbler. I do like this brand sticker paper. It is sturdy and easy to maneuver, but also not thick, so it doesn't take too many coats of Brite tone to cover. Just a reminder, when you're using a clear decal, you want your glitter to be white or bright as well as shiny. So I do have some coats of Brite tone, not a freshly sanded cup. It has coats of Brite tone, so it is shiny before I add my decal. And then I went around and added some leopard spots. These I actually already had cut from a different project and thought, you know what, I might as well use these for something else. I think that I would probably have made them a little smaller if I cut them specifically for this, but I don't think that it is that big of a deal. So I went around and just added them one by one. I think you can do a better job of laying them out, not having, the same shape or the same orientation. You can kind of be a little bit more intentional about how many and where your leopard spots will go. These are an SVG of the fuzzy leopards from Trendz Designs. Again, I will link this all down below. The other decal I used is from Sassy Tumbler Graphics. So once I got all of my spots on this tumbler, just kind of changing up the size and shape around the tumbler, I held it up and I just looked around to see what I thought. I do think there is some part of it that it's hard to tell if you like the way they are placed until you are done. So I did decide that there was a spot that I wasn't in love with, so I actually ended up trying to add more, and then I ended up actually removing some spots and replacing different spots in its place so I could get the look I was going for. So in order to remove the vinyl, I just used my pin pen that I used to weed it and remove it from the cup. Now the first one I was able to just quickly replace right on that tumbler, but the other one was a goner. So I ended up taking it off and replacing it with a bigger one. I stop and snap a photo, and then I start with my Brite tone. Remember, you don't need a whole lot of Brite tone over your clear decals, but it will take some work to get this vinyl covered. So do 3 coats of Brite tone, maybe 4, every 4 hours, and then you can do a light sanding. And you just want to sand over the decal. I'm using 400 grit sandpaper, sanding just over those leopard spots just to help this cup smooth out even faster. I do sand over that clear decal as well, and I gave the rim just a little extra love because sometimes I think that it's easy to miss and not get the smoothest surface possible. I'm using the surface conditioner to clean up the dust, but you want to make sure you clean it either with a surface conditioner or water, and then you can go in with more coats of Brite tone. At this point, you'll need 3 or 4 more coats of Brite tone, and it should be good to go. You may need to sand one more time, but usually with a thin Oracle 651 vinyl, it is pretty easy to get it covered in about 6 coats. I am super excited with how this tumbler turned out. It is simple and elegant and perfect for St. Patrick's Day. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I originally started this for a Christmas tumbler and totally changed directions. If you want to learn how to do a multicolor ombre with 3 or 4 or more glitters, make sure you watch the video up on your screen.